In this session, we are going to consider different tools for person-centered planning. So what is person-centered planning? Well, there are many definitions, but this one that I particularly like is provided by a self-advocate. Person-centered planning is about being in charge of what happens in your life and having people that I want and trust to help me make things happen. Firstly, this definition highlights the importance of being in charge, and secondly, it highlights the importance of being supported by someone to help to make things happen. So how can we ensure that someone stays in charge and in control of the planning process? Can you remember the last time you were in charge of a big task? Like, for example, preparing a Christmas family dinner. How did it make you feel? Did you feel excited? Or maybe a bit anxious or nervous or stressed? Now imagine that you have your mom, a professional cook, or your support worker coming and helping, offering tips and advice. Are you likely to stay in charge, or you're going to give that power away to that professional? It might actually sound quite appealing for a professional to take charge and control of this process, and at the same time taking the risk away and the responsibility for possibly burnt turkey or spoiled party. People with learning disabilities have a lot of professionals and support staff working with them and helping them to make important decisions. It could be quite easy to let the professionals do what they do best. However, this can lead to learned self-helplessness. It is really important that when you're supporting someone, you are actively encouraging them to stay in charge. One way of doing it really well is by providing structures and systems that the person can use and understand. RICS wikis are really useful here. There are many person-centered planning tools that can help in that process. Multimedia advocacy and person-centered planning usually starts from the person. So who is the person? Well, we all have different roles and identities that we play in our communities. I'm someone's daughter, I'm a mother, I'm a partner, I'm a lecturer, I'm a colleague. All these different people will know a different side of me. When we support someone to build the RICS wiki, it's always a good idea to start with the About Me section. The individual can choose to add information about themselves that they would like to share with other people. Another person-centered planning tool that is really great fun to use is Like and Admire, or positive reputation. A person with the learning difficulties can simply take a camera and go and ask people who know that individual well to tell them what they like and admire about them. This information can be captured on little video clips and then be added to the person's wiki. Another person-centered planning tool that is really useful is called the Relationship Circle. There are many versions of this tool. This particular one helps us to see in which circle we might have some gaps, where we might have not enough people. Maybe you have lots of professionals who are paid to be there, but not many friends. Maybe that's the area where we need to concentrate on. Or perhaps you have many friends, but you're at the transition age where you might be thinking, okay, what's going to happen to these relationships when I move to the next school or service? And we can start planning how to maintain those relationships. The outcomes from the Relationship Circle exercise can then be included in the RICS wiki People in My Life section. And then we can start planning how to maintain our existing relationships and perhaps plan for building new relationships. Another person-centered planning tool that we find really useful in the person-centered planning process is called the PATH, or Planning Alternative Tomorrows with Hope. This tool has been developed by Jack Pierpoint, Marcia Forrest and John O'Brien. The PATH tool is a really useful tool for planning a goal for an individual, to monitor the progress and understand the process. This tool is a graphical tool and it has 8 steps. Step 1 is the wish. We ask the individual what they would like to achieve. Anything is possible here. So we say the sky is the limit. People can give us dreams that are not necessarily achievable. The aim of this step is to get direction and to start the process. So as a facilitator, you might want to draw this wish or this big dream on the top right hand of the paper. And the reason for that is so it's as far away as possible from now, which is on the other side of the paper. Step 2, positive and possible. We are sensing the goal here. So you ask the individual to imagine that they are now in the future and they have achieved the big dream. How does it make them feel? What is happening? What events took place? You can start recording the answers using images and text. Depending on the nature of that goal, this might be actually the small achievable goals. And once these are identified, you can then move on to the next step. Step 3, now. Where are we now? As a facilitator, you draw this as far away from the future as possible to help the person to see the tension between future and now. And in here, you have a discussion to identify what is the situation now? What does it look like? What do we need to do to achieve our goal? Step 4, enroll. Who to enroll or who can help? You discuss with the individual different people in that person's life and think who can help and how, and list all these different people under this heading. Step 5, getting stronger or building strength. At this stage, we can identify different actions that we could do to ensure that we don't give up. Step 6, 1 month from now. So again, you are in the future, a month from now. Where are you now? Which part of the goal have you achieved? Record this in your plan, and that step will help the individual to know what it feels like when they have achieved the first part of the goal. Step 7, 3 months from now. So again, imagine that you are in the future. Where are you now? Which part of the goal have you achieved? Record this achievement in the present tense. Step 6 and 7 vary depending on the goal and how big is the goal. Sometimes they might be 1 and 3 months from now, or sometimes they might be 3 and 6 months. There is a lot of person-centered planning tools. What is important to me? What is important for me? Essential lifestyle plans, making action plans. By really what they are is a set of questions, and you can always mix and match those questions to use what's appropriate for the individual. When you're supporting someone to create the person-centered plan, doesn't matter whether this is a paper-based plan or a plan that is going to be on the RICS wiki, it is really important to establish the function of the plan. This will determine what sort of tools you're going to use and how you're going to share this. So remember, if you are supporting someone in the person-centered planning process, your role is to help them to stay in charge as much as possible and to help them to make things happen.